So John and Keith, myself, joined forces. Greencross was a co-op. We then evolved into a corporate model. A couple of guys turned up, they'd optioned up some vet clinics on the Gold Coast. We joined forces. We ended up with 31 clinics in a corporate entity that we listed on the Australian Stock Exchange in 2007. We were a $20 million market cap, absolutely irrelevant if you think about it today. Listed that, we started doing a roll-up, which is acquiring 1 to 2 clinics. While that was going on, we opened Pet HQ a couple of years before we listed Greencross. Pet HQ, it's a nice big building, and the guy who developed the building said, "Glenn, come and have a look. I've got a vacant," I was taking a 300 square metre space for a new vet hospital. "What can we do with this 1,000 square metre site right beside an auto barn?" I said, "I think it'd make a good pet store." And he said, "Really?" He said, how would you do that? I said, "I have no idea about retail." I walked across the road, then 2 of my clients were in a little pet store. And I said to Michael and Carol, I said, "See that across the road? How would you feel about joining me in opening a big 1,000 square metre facility across the road?" They said, "We'd love to. We've just come back from the US. We've studied Petco. That would be fantastic." So within 10 minutes, we've done a deal to open a massive pet store. On the day we opened Pet HQ, I invited 2 friends from Sydney. Paul was an old friend, had been a Caltex rep for North Queensland, but had moved to Sydney. We'd been drinking buddies, and I said, "Come up and have a look at this pet store." And they were looking for something else to do. They'd been very successful in online retail, sold that to Coles, and they were looking for something else. So the day we opened Pet HQ, we had an outside broadcast going on with the local radio station. We had Dr. Harry, we had vet hospital tours, we had specials on Frontline, the parasite control for dogs. We gridlocked Townsville. It went ballistic. We did $50,000 on our first day of opening back in 2007. Petbarn's pretty excited if they still do that number on their first day of opening new stores now. So you get all the demographic data, you open a pet store based on your modelling, and if you hit your number, you're really excited because it starts there, falls back, and then eventually goes back to about your opening day. So, the way you think about things is pretty important. So Pet HQ then morphed into Petbarn, and we rolled up Petbarn. We were rolling up Greencross, and then we put the 2 together in 2014 into the largest consumer-facing pet care company in Australasia. That's in 2019 was gone from $1 to $10.60, $11 as a share price, which is crazy. It was 32 times price-earnings ratio. I moved out of the management team to be a board member. My financial advisor said, "You've been 20 years in business, you need to pull your head in and take some money off the table." So I did, and reinvented myself as an investor. And that's where Shark Tank turned up, and I went, "There's no way I want to go on Shark Tank. Absolutely no chance." And between my wife and Steve Baxter, who was on Shark Tank, they got me drunk, did the old 1-2, and next thing I ended up on Shark Tank and hungover and ready to invest in companies. But it was a good way to transition from management team and sort of business owner into the investment world. And it did help open up and get massive deal flow in early stage and scale ups. So a lot of my investments, even today, 10 years on, are because of Shark Tank exposure. So interesting times.
How many businesses would you be involved in or have a commercial relationship with now, roughly?
That's a hard question. I'll ask my wife, and she'll just shake her head. I've got a spreadsheet about this long. Look, 3 mindsets. One is don't lose it. Here's the platform. So that's fund managers and real estate. The middle group is the scale-ups. When I meet really successful businesses, really passionate founders that I can invest in that have developed good businesses, they're good revenue, they're good profit, but they're starting to run into either funding problems or they're running into chaos because they're growing too quickly. They're right in my wheelhouse going, I can help you with scaling up. I lived and breathed the Rockefeller habits, Vern Harnish's work around getting chaos under control using tools that we've all evolved. So simply annual planning retreat, 90-day resets, 30-day management meetings, weekly review meetings on where you're at with your projects, daily WhatsApp huddle. So set agendas that you cycle through. So we learnt a lot with the meeting rhythms out of Bernard. So getting things, chaos under control is so important. So I take all those learnings and help my scale-ups, and then I've got my early stage ones, and that's where you just accept. If you're going to go into early stage investing, you know one's going to hit the lights out, 3 are going to muddle sideways and probably go okay, and you'll still be there 20 years from now muddling sideways, and then there's a whole bunch of carnage that you just have to accept. So every now and again when I turn up at the dinner table and go, darling, writing off another one, you can see the look on her face, but it just happens. And I've even had a couple of scale-ups that you think are bulletproof. One in doing general practice, medical practices, blew up and end up in Bad Bank at ANZ, and that was a lot of fun. When you get told to present yourself to Bad Bank at a meeting, I'm going, no, I'm not coming. I'll dial in. There's a lot of push and shove around how those conversations happen. When you turn up and you go, Aldi, Coles and Woolies have just entered the space we thought was pretty safe, and they've blown up our business model, and we've just written off a couple of $1 million. It's not a fun conversation in the family at that time, I can tell you. So you just, you accept when you're in business and you're an investor and you're not the guy right in the front line of control, you have to trust that the team that you're helping influence. But every now and again, you're going to bump into things that are beyond the control of the team. You respect it. You don't beat them up. It's that famous out of the Rudyard Kipling if poem. If you can, bet all your savings on a game of pitch and toss, lose everything and start again. That's what happens in the business world. That's the real world, that you need resilience, you need passion, you need vision, and you need people like me who are prepared to back some of these founders and give them a red hot go. And things occasionally just don't go according to the plan. And when that happens, dust yourself off and go again.